Greetings, everyone. I would like to begin this by making a couple announcements. Number one, the Freedom Teachings group is now been unarchived, and the reason why I have done this is so that I can upload files there, as well as I can post videos there that I want to post outside of YouTube because the group is still private at this stage. So things that I wouldn't be allowed to do here on YouTube, I can do there. With discretion, of course. But there's that. So for those who are interested in that, I'll go ahead and post the link in the description. Okay? So, about this video, this one here and that which is to come in correlation. This is going to be introducing you to the Kathara levels 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to recap some of the information I did in my previous video. The reason why is because half of the video I spent talking about other things, and I may have lost a few of you there. So I'm going to recap that and briefly go over that and try to summarize this. The following videos will be on the crystal seals and the sound and light bodies and the axial tonal lines, okay, which all correlates to the manifest template and our situation here, because this is about healing. And it's going to be correlated, of course, with the sound and light techniques. This is the reason why I'm doing these videos. And they will be found, these videos, within that playlist, the Sound and Light Techniques playlist, so that you can better visualize, at least better understand your template in order to be able to intend it to be there, so when energy is moving through your body, you'll be able to easily direct it in the areas that you would like to direct that energy. Intention is extremely powerful, and loving intention, true love, the love that you've always been, that spark of source within you, the nature of who you are, cannot be interfered with. I want to make that very clear. So what you do with these techniques, if you do it with pure intention, you're good to go. So let's go ahead and begin. I don't think I forgot anything here, so I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this. So again, I'm going to recap, and then we're going to briefly go over this. This PDF, I created a PDF for this, so the PDF will be available if you would like to download it. I'm going to go ahead and upload it within the I'm going to upload it within the group, the Freedom Teachings group, okay? And if you want it, you don't want to become part of the group, just go to my website and get my email address and email me and let me know that you want this PDF and I can send it to you. Okay? All right. So let's get started. All manifest bodies are a sound and light grid, which is a triune harmonic structure of tonal frequency, that is sound, a scalar waveform, that which is light, and this tonal frequency / scalar waveform making up a grid, which is the morphogenic field, or form holding template, also known as the Partakai grid, okay? The Kathara grid of the human body is the core holographic template upon which the morphogenic scalar wave template and all other levels of identity and form are constructed. Ka equals light, Tha equals sound, Ra equals one. The point of all union, one. The Kathara is the holographic template of sound, light, scalar waves that serves as blueprints on which matter manifests. sound, light, scalar waves equals blueprints. The Kathara grid of the human body is the control center for manifestation of the human being. Ka equals light, right? We established that. But it also equals form. All form is made up of the spectra of light that represents the manifestation of patterns of dimensionalized electrotonal frequency. It's also important to remember the point of origin for all of this design. All structure design begins with the unici and can be seen within the triunity of the Manu, Ire, and Mane. I would just like to add at this point that the playlist, the Cosmic Shorts, covers this, and it would be to your advantage if you have not gone through that to look at that. So let's get on with the Kathara. There are three primary structural levels of the Kathara grid. We have level 1, which is the 12-point grid with Kathara, centers, and lines. Level 2 is the crystal sills grid and the 15 primary chakras, which equals dimensional bands or consciousness bands. Level 3, which is the dyadic and meiotic points grid. The Kathara grid is the primary mathematical geometrical organization of units of consciousness upon which Partakai units group and form morphogenic field scalar grids. 12 primary Kathara centers and 15 primary Kathara lines. All right, so this is level 1. Okay. Level 1. The 12 tree holds the first mathematical geometrical program upon which Kathara grid levels 2 and 3 are created and are composed of Kathara centers and Kathara lines. As we look to the left, we can see the Kathara centers, right, 1 through 12, and we look to the right, we can see the lines 1 through 15. Okay. I would like for you to notice that line 1, 2, and 3, which you can see as being gold, are the vertical lines. All right? And let's take a look at what those vertical lines are. All right. Vertical line 1 is the Mane pillar. That's what it's called. And the vertical line 2 is the Manu pillar. And vertical line 3 is the Ire pillar. Now, these columns and what they are, again, emphasizing the cosmic shorts, that will give you more information on this, okay? So, if you haven't checked that out, do yourself a favor and go ahead and take a look because it's quite informative. All right, level 2, again, is the crystal sills. Okay, so the crystal sills are groups of three-dimensional Partakai scalar wave composites that regulate the rate of Partakai phasing to create the base structures upon which dimensionalization is formed. All right. The flow of frequency sequences of scalar standing wave flashing cycles of Partakai phasing. Now think of the crystal sills as, well, just for what it says it is. It's a sill. It allows for current to pass through. It regulates current. So the sills are by which current is regulated. So what I provided within this PDF is I kind of modified it a little bit, made it look a little bit more presentable. So anyhow, is where star crystal seals are located. Now, this is readily available online. If you know what to, put within the search engine, what to look for, this will pop up. This is actually copyright material, but it's been out there for so long, it doesn't really matter at this stage. And I'm at the position in my life where it's like, a lot of this stuff's supposed to be free to begin with. When you start copywriting things, it becomes your intellectual property. And if it was given to you to begin with for humanity, you don't attach money to it. You can't. So I'm just saying, this has been out there. I've changed it a little bit. Okay, I made it a little bit more presentable. But again, it allows you to be able to see where the star crystal seals are located, and the relationship of the chakras, the 7 primary chakras, and the 8 morphogenic chakras. Okay, you can see the relationship there and do a little study there on your own. That's the reason for this PDF, so that you can refer to it. Okay, so level 3, diadic and meiotic points represent concentrated areas of energy that emerge at points where dimensionalized levels of scalar grids cross over and through each other, creating tiny vortices of wave spectra that serve as frequency modulation zones, scalar flash cycle transition points between dimensional frequency bands. Okay, so between dimensional frequency bands, we're talking about between each dimension frequency band, which is a consciousness band, right? And when we're talking about that, we're talking also about chakras, right? So diadic point vortices are white hole vortices that transmit energy into the particle universe from their counterpart meiotic point vortices within the antiparticle universe. So what is the particle universe? The particle universe is the part to come. And the antiparticle universe being the part decay. Through the structure of dimensionalization, each harmonic universe and the structures contained therein within the morphogenic fields sets of diadic and meiotic points, sets of white and black holes. We're going to clarify that here in a second. That regulates the flux of consciousness energy between systems. So let's go back to the idea of these dimensionalized frequency bands. Again, what is that? That's consciousness bands. So that's what we're referring to, that regulate the flux of consciousness energy between the systems. Okay? Now, the white hole is the part to come, and the black holes is the part decay. Let me explain. Within the first harmonic universe, which we're in, the Merkaba field consists of, or a Merkaba consists of, 2 counter-rotating fields. One is electrical field and the other is a magnetic field. Think of the magnetic field as the bottom circulating current, and the counter-circulating current being the electrical above. It's usually represented through like 2 pyramids that are inverted of one another. Okay? So if you have a balanced ratio of rotation, meaning if the electrical field is a higher ratio than that of the magnetic, you're going to have a less dense environment. Okay? So when we're thinking of that which is kind of odd, because you would think it would be the opposite in regard to how it's being worded here. But That's what this is, okay? To clarify, when we're talking about these vortices, we're referring to Merkaba, okay? So Merkaba has a lot of functions, just as a footnote, many different functions, right? That's a subject for the future. But long story short, we're talking about regulating the flux of consciousness energy between systems under the normal natural order, okay? Now, we're looking at dyadic and maidic points. What is that? Where is that located dimensionally? I said I'd be going over this briefly, so that's what I'm doing. Trying to anyhow. So this is not exhaustive, nor is it thorough, but it's close enough to meet our needs, which is to give us a basic understanding. All right, so if we look at the particle units within this chart that's made available here, within the first harmonic universe, we have tones chi, ki, ri. And then within the second harmonic universe, we have prana, maitreya. So we're going to go into the second harmonic universe, or the consciousness bands in relationship to the second, that make up the second harmonic universe. And we see the particle units there as within the fourth dimension being myon units. And then the fifth, we have dion units. So what is that? Myonic, dionic. That's what it's referring to. So we're talking about the fourth and fifth dimension. Now, it's in reference to sets of these here. In regard to sets, I understand the idea of the parallel universe concept, so perhaps maybe it's in relationship to that, but I don't know specifically. Some of the wording that is used within Keylontic science can be confusing, and it's kind of been my job to try to make it not confusing, but I'm not privy to all the information. I am only privy to a little, and I've only been at this for a short time, actually. The reason why I know as much as I know about certain things is because I knew it ahead of time. I knew it prior to Keylontic morphogenic science. Before I ever studied that, I was very much aware of it. Didn't have the same terminology. I didn't use the same terminology, but I had an understanding, and I had personal experiences that validated it. So, just saying. Okay, there's that. All right, folks, I'm going to end here. That's going to be it for this. Right. I will be following up with the other videos, again, getting into the crystal seals a little bit more, and the sound and light bodies. And again, this is really all about healing. Healing, to be able to know how to direct energy and understanding where you're directing the energy. Because if you do the technique properly in regard to the vocalization for harmonic resonation within the body, if you learn how to do that correctly, which always begins with chi in your root chakra, the energy wants to move by itself. So it makes it easy for you to actually direct it through your conscious intention. At that point, it just, again, like I said, if you haven't experienced it, you don't know really what I'm talking about when it comes to this. For everybody, it's just really, for most people, not everybody, but for most people, it's just theoretical. That's the reason why I said I needed a workshop with this, because this really needs to be tactile. In other words, I have to see people doing it, and I have to get feedback from them. I have to be able to see what's going on and be able to direct things. Because once you get it, once you understand it, then you don't need me anymore. Thank goodness. And that's the whole point, you know. I want people to be freed up. So there's that. All right, so I'll follow up with the other videos and when I can. So look out for them. And again, all of this is going to be within the Sound and Light Techniques playlist. All right, folks, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Hopefully this is making a difference in your life. Blessings.